It's good there's a lot of activity around.
All right, I'm sitting here with Winship, and we are in Toubab Dialaw in a place called Toubab. How long have you been coming here to Toubab?
8 years.
8 years. And primarily, what have you
9
been?
years even.
9 years even. How have you seen this place change? We were talking about this a little bit last
Well,
night.
it's a little bit timeless. That's why we like it here. Because you get the impression it's never going to change. Because it's very slow, but there's improvements all the time, and at the same time there's high periods and low periods. At the moment there's no tourists because of this Ebola business, and so they're kind of getting discouraged, and people are even being laid off.
Yeah.
But then everyone, the Senegalese are very optimistic, so they say it's going to get better.
Now you're a dancer. You're from North Carolina.
From Nashville.
Nashville,
Yeah.
Tennessee. And how long have you been in Europe? How long have you been in Africa, Europe?
I've been in Europe for 20 years.
20 years.
And I've pretty much been the same amount of time in the States and in Europe. And I've spent, I guess in Senegal, I've spent at least a year and a half. If you count all the times that I've come and gone.
Now I can hear the accent
twang.
coming out. Yeah.
and I've been going to Guinea as well a lot because I'm working with somebody there in France that comes from Guinea, so sometimes I go with him to Guinea.
What is it that you find about dance? I took a dance class with her yesterday, and she kicks ass. We were dancing from Gabon, right?
Guinea.
Guinea. It's Guinea. The movement was fantastic. What is it that makes you passionate about dance?
That's a serious question.
Yeah.
Well, I started when I was 8, and I did one class, and I said, I'm going to do this the rest of my life.
Wow.
So it was like it was just like love at first sight, and I stopped a little bit at one point because I was a ballet dancer, so I did 30 nutcrackers a year with all the other military kids.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of military kids in ballet because it's very regimented. At the same time, it's kind of a rebellion thing, I think, too. And then I stopped doing ballet because I kind of grew up. And then I totally stopped dancing, and I was like lost for 2-3 years. I just was floating around, not knowing where to go, what to do. Then I started doing modern. Then I started doing Afro jazz, and I started doing hip hop, and then I did all the way to African. I did the full circle. And now I mix everything. And I like, when I do work, I like to take an African dancer or the dancer from the conservatory, from a dancer that's capoeira, and I like how they meet each other and how their bodies meet each other.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, what's your
what I love.
inspiration for new movement?
Yeah.
When you're choreographing, because a lot of dance, you have the movement, and then you have the creation of the movement, you have the collaboration of musicians and with the artists themselves. But what is it that inspires you to create?
It depends. Either I have something I really want to say, because I also love working with actors, and I love working with theater. So, like in France at the moment, I'm doing a lot of dance theater. So the last piece I did there was a director and me, and we did the piece together. There's some real theater scenes and some real dance scenes and some scenes that are between the two. So I love starting movement from meaning. I love looking for meaning and what movement comes from that. But I also love finding movement from rhythm. When I'm teaching, the musicians play, and that's why I do a lot of création. I learn the rhythms, the real rhythms with the real movement, but that's not what I practice. I teach beginners the rhythm with the movement, but that's better for Africans to do that. What I have to give that's different is I listen to the music, I find movement that is good for me, and then I just develop that. And so the musician he creates and I create, and so it often turns around rhythm.
Yes.
But then once you have that base, oftentimes I ask the students, for example, we can work on energies. I don't know if you've done Laban energies, like impact and all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they can transform the movement, so then it can be something like it can start from rhythm, it can have a rhythmic aspect, but then it can also go towards something that's more personal.
Right.
So
Now,
I'm always playing between the personal and the popular, because what goes well with music is popular, because it's pleasing to do and pleasing to the eye.
Right.
So
and for the dancers also.
yeah.
Because they're doing that outside of the classroom.
Yeah, but you know, in France there's this whole, we call it nombreliste, where everyone's just dancing around their own, how do you say,
Center.
belly button.
Belly button.
Yeah, they're like, it's all about what I feel, and it's not about what you're giving, so I'm totally not, that's why I never totally went into the modern dance world in France, because it can be too egocentric, and you don't understand it. You read the paper, it's about this and this, and you look at the show, and you're like, I don't see anything between these two.
Yeah.
So I try to be clear, but being clear doesn't mean being cliche. You know, being clear means trying to say something clearly with the body, so that the audience has something to hang on to. So that's what I love to see, and that's what I love to do. I saw one of the most beautiful shows that I've ever seen in my entire life this year, which was James Thierry, who's the grandson of Charlie Chaplin.
Okay.
Just incredible, because it's dance, it's theater, it's circus, it's musical. Everything is there, and you understand everything, and sometimes you don't understand, but then you understand. You're just like, it goes between concrete things and abstract things constantly, and that's what I love. And you're just on the edge of your seat. The show lasted an hour and a half, and you're just like a kid the whole time.
That's so cool.
Yeah, James Thierry, he tours the world. You might be able to see him.
I bet one of these days.
Yeah.
Now, are you working on anything in particular at the moment?
At the moment?
Yes.
Well, I have a couple of projects. One project is working with a choreographer from Burkina Faso, and he's in France. So we have French dancers that are amateur dancers. It's not a professional company. Because that's kind of the fashion at the moment in France. We're trying to get amateurs to dance, so that dance leaves its ivory tower.
Right.
So we have an amateur. They all love African dance. So African dance company. There's about 15 of them, and we're we're working on the piece, and then he's going to take the work to Burkina. He's going to teach it there, transform it there, and then we're all going to go. We, the Europeans, are going to go to Burkina in February, and we're going to do the piece together.
Cool.
So that is great, exciting. And we're doing it in really good, it's the Institut Français, so it's really good conditions. Beautiful stage, recognition, all that, that's good. And the other project I'm doing is, I'm looking for money now for next year. I'm doing a piece called the Papalagi, which you would really like. The Papalagi is a word, it's a Samoan word. It's a German guy in the 1930s. He went to the Samoan Islands to study the sauvage, the uncivilized people. And at the end, it's the uncivilized people that write about us. So it's a beautiful book. He turns everything on its head.
Yeah.
And everything in the book, it's very simple, it's very accessible, and it just really talks to us. He talks about money, the fact that money is our God. He says, you talk about the great universe and people are like, look at you like you're naive, but you talk about the heavy paper and the circular metal, and their eyes go like this. And he says the time that the Papalagi goes through life like in flesh, like an arrow. Because he's so greedy with time. He's always mad at the creator for not giving us enough time. And he cuts time in like he cut a coconut in half and then quarters. And so it's just wonderful. And he always has to think. He can never just relax and just exist. He has to be thinking. And he's reading all these useless things in the newspaper. Because he went to London, I think, in the 30s. And you see everyone's in the newspaper. And they're like reading all this useless information about people they don't even know.
Right.
It's just so true. I mean, it's he pushes it to the extreme. So I'm really inspired by that because it makes us think about ourselves. I do a lot of pieces about being an immigrant. I do a lot of pieces about not being, because in Europe I work a lot with Africans or with Arabs or people that don't come from France. even though I'm an American, a white American, I feel like an immigrant inside.
Yeah.
So I'm really touched by those stories. So I do a lot of work about, I don't belong to where I came from anymore, but I don't belong here either
Right.
because people see me as a foreigner. So I do a lot of stuff about that. And Papalagi is something else because we're all Papalagi, whether you come as a foreigner or we're all, it just makes us, it's like a big mirror
Yes.
on the whole society. So that piece I'm going to do, sorry, I'll finish it.
Yeah.
That piece is with an actor,
Uh-huh.
so a white Germanic actor with blue eyes, and an Abercrombie dancer who also does theater, and a woman who plays the piano, because I just imagine the piano in it, like the piano lesson, the piece by Jane Campion, the
Okay.
film.
Yes.
I just have those images of the 1930s, the piano, kind of romantic. But she can play it on her iPhone. She plugs in her iPhone and she can play the piano. So it's kind of like playing with the fact that we have this technology. And it's also it's not just a criticism of our society, but it's kind of like, look, we're playing with all that we have, and at the same time we can have a look at ourselves and go, wow, we're really strange.
Yeah. That is, especially from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
Somebody saying, and being educated at the same time,
What do you mean, him? The guy who talked about us?
Because he has his own brain.
Exactly.
And he knows enough to be able to distinguish what is what, and his reality is different from what the other reality is that has
Right.
been pressed upon him.
Exactly.
You guys.
And
Guys.
he's trying to tell his people, don't follow them.
Don't, yeah.
But that's what the whole world has done.
Right.
We're all Papalagi now.
Yeah.
Even probably on the Samoan Islands, they're Papalagi too. We're all Papalagi. It's like this big tsunami wave
Uh-huh.
that's taken all of humanity, and we all love money.
Right.
God, money is our God, and we're all in a hurry. And you have to go. I mean, we come to Africa. Also, there's a little pockets of un-Papalagi. You know what I mean? There's like pockets. You can find pockets, but we're pretty much all on this big global wave. We don't know where we're going, but maybe it's a little bit of, hey, we've lost our innocence, but why don't we try to keep a little bit of what the uncivilized can teach us with our iPhone.
Okay. Well,
I talked enough?
Yeah, we have a whole lot. Where can we find you on
Online?
the internet, on the little iPhone?
Well, I have a site. It's called Winship Dance. Winship is like to win, and ship like the boat. Winshipdance.com.
So
WINSHIP.com. So you're welcome to write or to go on. We have a lot of shows online. You can go on to spectacle. It's in French, sorry, but I will one day translate it into English.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can go on there and have a look.
All right.
Thank you, Xavier. Thank you. Great to meet you.
Good to meet you too.